What a great, crazy thriller film.
Please tell me you don't die at the end.
Does go me with
Please.
The other day, this guy goes, "We conquered you," and I go, "Really? Do I look conquered to you, bro?" And I don't know if that's a smart thing or a good thing.
No, it's dumb.
But it is who we are.
Yeah.
Get ready for hot takes and insight from local industry experts in real estate, business, and lifestyle. He used to play ball with the Padres. He played hockey for the Lobos. Now they're crushing it in the real estate game. Together, they'll showcase the best of the Duke City. This is All About You, ABQ.
Oh, that's right. It is All About You, ABQ. Now, the goal of the show is to highlight the best of our city's industry experts in real estate, culture, and lifestyle so that you walk away with some value feeling inspired. Now, the way we like to do that is to answer the questions you may have or interview the guests you want to see. So we invite you to join the conversation. You can reach out on our social media tag up here or join our email list to get some timely tips about our community and real estate market. Hey, I'm Skip Adams, owner of Sold by Skip Real Estate Brokerage here in Albuquerque.
Grant Harvey, home loan expert.
Probably recognize this guy as the head coach of the University of New Mexico men's Lobo hockey team, but now he's absolutely crushing it in the mortgage space.
You may have seen Skip at Old Navy Shopping and HGTV's House Hunters and part of the top 2% producing agents in the city.
Thank you for that warm, toothless introduction. Here's why you're going to want to stay tuned. We're joined by Albuquerque icon Steven Michael Quezada to talk about a couple of cool events he's got coming up and just wrap out about all things Albuquerque.
Yeah. What do you got? What do you got on tap?
Well, I don't know, but stay tuned to the end of the show. It's everybody's favorite, Skip's Tips. Grant, dude, you almost missed the show today. It looks like you had your head out the window driving 100 miles an hour.
My hair's always like this. I don't know, this is not unusual. I mean, you're going to be like, oh, look at his hair today. Look at all the shows. Anyways, yes, I was late. Standstill traffic. I'm so tired of I-25 ruining my life. It was standstill traffic. I have to pull off all these felonies just to get here. I had to turn sideways. Like I was sideways where cars were like this, and I was like, well, T-Bone City. You know?
I guess
Who's hungry for
nobody's
T-bones? Yeah. So I got here. I was late also because I couldn't find my tooth. Yes, you guys know I don't have a tooth. If you don't, you know now. I think my dog took it. Hell of a morning.
Oh, great. Well, good, buddy. It's good to have you back.
Thank
Looking
you.
good.
Good to have you also. Yeah.
One thing we always talk about, and the fact that you said traffic, is it's funny because you were maybe 10 minutes late, whereas, you know, in LA or like these bigger cities, you know, commuting to work, it's like, oh yeah, there was an accident, so I was 3 hours late.
But I live by the beach, and I go to the beach 1 hour a week, and so it's all worth it. I lose 25 years of my life in traffic, but I'm by the beach.
But no, I had an outstanding weekend. So Birdie is almost 4 years old, and so we got into youth sports, which, and you're always curious, like, what kind of parent am I going to be at youth sports? Am I going to be the guy with the clipboard just yelling at my kid?
I hope so.
Yeah, give
That's
me
how you
push-ups.
get things done.
But this was her first ever T-ball at bat, and big stroke. I mean, I got to take credit for the stroke, you know, and the speed.
Look at that puppy. Oh my God, it's out of here. I like that she keeps her helmet on.
Well, she is styling first and foremost. But so that was my first experience as a, you know.
That's her first hit?
Yeah, first hit, first at bat. Also won the participation sportsmanship medal that week, which, you know, I know people are saying, you know, you shouldn't give participation trophies, but the look on her face when the coach was like, Birdie, you did a good job. Here's a medal for you.
Well, it's okay as long as she was the only one that got it. If other people are getting it, then you just light it on fire.
Yeah, well, she was the only one that got it. Not bragging, dude. Humble brag for the dad. But yeah, man.
4 years old.
Mm-hmm.
They grows up and they grows up and they grows up.
Yeah, she'll be driving soon.
What do we got for Albuquerque?
Couple of things, you know. So New Mexico has typically always had a net population, right? Albuquerque, there's not the same amount of people leave as move here each year.
You said a net population?
A net population.
Oh, I thought you meant a net.
Yeah, a net. There's a lot
of nets here.
We always just get a big net and bring people in. But New Mexico migration trends revealed that there's an influx of Texas and Californians moving here as our population shifts.
Get out of here, Texas. Just kidding.
So roughly 65,000 people leave each year and about 65,000 people move here. And most recently, the majority of the people that move here have been from Texas. And you figure it's because, you know, Texas has pretty right-wing politics. New Mexico is a little blue.
What are they doing here?
I think it's just like a teeter-totter. Like, you get sick of the blue here, so you're like, I'm going red, and you go to Texas. And then the funny thing is I'm kind of the tip of the spear for people that move here because our business is all predicated on relocation. But I always get calls from people in Texas just going, I can't fucking take this anymore. Like, this politics is crazy. I'm coming to New Mexico.
There's too many trucks.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
There's too much red meat here.
Yeah. But behind Texas, most people came from California, Colorado, Washington, or Arizona. So
the Colorado migration makes sense. No Arizona then, huh?
No, Arizona came in last. But yeah, for the most part, it's just if you like the Southwest, you typically stay in the Southwest.
Yeah, the Arizona one puzzles me because if anyone's been out there, you bake your brains out, and it's like, how can you? You can't live in the swimming pool. So what is it? How do you justify that? Just $710 refrigerated air expenses. Is it your car, your dash boiling? I'm kind of against Arizona.
No, I lived in Tucson for a while, and same thing. It's very similar to Albuquerque. There's mountains, and it's, but then you get in the summer, it's like 120.
Yeah.
And the black leather seats.
That's fun. Yeah.
Dude, forget it.
I lived in Tucson.
Yeah, you were the mayor of Tucson. What else? Anything has you up in arms these days?
No. I don't have here's what I did last night. I went to a flamenco. So.
Oh, you went to the flamenco festival?
Yeah, well, not a festival.
It's a festival.
It's a festival?
It's like 2 weeks long.
Yeah, that's not a festival. So we weren't allowed to record, right? So my brother tried it, and they're all, please. Most polite people are just please.
Please put your phone down.
Usually I'm used to like a mag flashlight in our head. With
Albuquerque style?
Cops like, no warning, just bleeding out of your head. Yeah, but they were, but it was fantastic. I haven't been to one before, and it's kind of like tap dancing in that style, and they have like the beat and stuff, and it was mesmerizing. I was
Where was it located?
In like Pope Joy, but it's a different hall. Like we went in there. We went on a wild goose chase on campus, like, going on the maps. Have you ever walked for maps and it takes you like, it's back where your car was. When you walk,
cut through the courtyard.
Yeah,
guess what?
It doesn't know where you're going.
You're back home.
So I am kind of
cultured.
Yeah.
Is that why you got a button?
That's funny you said that. My brother said so much culture after when people were clapping. So he was cultured, yeah, the blonde kid in the audience.
Nothing to rant about this week?
No, I do. I mean, I don't know why you said that. Let's get it going. No smoking allowed. So I have a few things to say about kids nowadays, and so my belief is they avoid outdoors at all costs. And I'll tell you what happens when you avoid outdoors. There's fewer kidnappings. Okay, so that's good. When's the last time a kid got kidnapped? I don't want to bring that back, but I'm just saying it was an '80s trend, right? I mean, kids don't, there's no basketball hoops out anymore. Notice that? And, like they used to be on like the top of the garage or the stand-up ones. No basketball hoops. There's no more sunburns because you'd have to go outside to get a sunburn. There's a lot of perks here. No more ditches are deadly advertisement. I guess kids aren't jumping in ditches anymore. Their parents have been like, hey, listen, there was a lot of our generation jumping in ditches. Don't do it anymore. We have these yellow bumper stickers that told us not to. The DARE program, it's gone. I guess kids aren't doing drugs because the guy waiting at the backstop is not there anymore. Remember that? The guy was at the backstop just, peeling out drugs, and you would somehow do your drugs and go home, and your parents would find you normal, and you had money for drugs the next day. The guy with the backstop, that was confusing. No getting hit by cars. I got hit by a car twice, and I think that it's good for the soul, makes you resilient, but no more hit by cars, no scabs, no ripped jeans. I'll tell you what happens though when you stay indoors. And here's my belief. I think if kids could just get a tunnel from school to their house, they would do that. They would just, like a gerbil, they would just go right to their house. Here's the bad thing about this. The diabetes, obesity, and seizures that are happening. I had a hockey player that didn't go outside very much, and that's why he was playing hockey, because he was inside a rink. But he got to start to get seizures, like Skip. They do drink 32 Capri Suns per video game outing. That's not good for your diabetes. And I've seen a lot of kids throwing controllers through TVs. So that's got to be more expensive for the parents. I think that they have got catfished. The only reason how you get catfished is when you don't meet the person. When you go, oh, is that you? Okay, let me talk to you for 2 years and not meet you. That's how catfishing happens. Catfishing didn't happen when you used to pick up girls at Coronado Mall, right? And The last one is you have these e-girlfriends, and that contributes to the catfishing. So this is how I think guys never actually get a girlfriend. They just have this avatar, and then they date that. So that's my Grant's Rants. How you like that?
Nailed it, dude. You know what really hit home for me is yesterday, obviously, huge rainstorm, and I was driving with my mom to dinner at Sadie's, get some carne asada, and my mom goes, "Hey, whatever happened to the ditch witch? Is that still a thing?" So the fact that you said that.
There used to be bumper stickers. Like parents would just devote some of their bumper to like, my kid is an honor roll student, and then ditches are deadly.
Stay away.
And then that many people needed to read it. And the kids aren't like, hey, oh, actually they're right. Another one, I guess I'm staying out of that ditch. Kids used to jump in ditches, apparently.
Yeah, no, it's before Nintendo for sure. Okay. Coming up next, here's why you're going to want to stay tuned. We're joined in studio by Steven Michael Quezada, owner of Quezada's Comedy Club and an Albuquerque icon. So stay tuned. This is YouABQ.
Ditches are deadly. Stay out.
Welcome back to YouABQ. I'm Skip Adams, owner of Sold by Skip Real Estate Brokerage here in Albuquerque.
Grant Harvey, home loan expert.
Joined in studio by Steven Michael Quezada. He's Breaking Bad's Agent Gomez, a stand-up legend and a true Albuquerque icon. We appreciate you taking some time out of your busy schedule to hang out with YouABQ today.
Hey, no, it's my pleasure. I'm not an icon of anything, though. But yeah, man, I'm glad to be here. I like what your focus is, and it's really important to me what you guys focus on, and so it's definitely my pleasure to be here.
Well, good, because you're an interesting guy to chat with because you have your hand in so many different things, from city, county politics to entertainment, comedy to building up the community. And I think that's kind of the focus of our show is we always want to give a platform or a voice to people who are trying to make a change.
Yeah.
And so we appreciate you coming by because it's so funny. We work downtown and we spend a lot of time downtown, and our downtown in Albuquerque has been so slow to evolve or become something new. And we always joke that there's just so many naysayers, like, no, we don't need any change. Well, let's just leave everything status quo.
It'll never work. All the the pessimism and things that we battle. And when we do our show, there are people be like, like that's never going to work. And whatever you name in progression, there's people that don't want it, and it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, and as a county commissioner, I can tell you, man, that's always going to be the challenge. We don't build that here, or we don't want that here, and you'll get that. But if you really, and if we could, because we can't, but if we could get an opinion from everybody, you'll find that the majority of the people want but they're just busy, right? They don't get involved. They don't go speak at public comment. You don't see any of those people. They're working, they're raising kids, as we all know, right? It's hard. We work hard. We come home. We're lucky to watch a little bit of TV, get some sleep, and then back at it the next day. So it's hard to be involved, right? You have to give up a lot to be involved.
Well, one of the things you said about being involved was the public comment. And I think whether you're sitting on an HOA board or a county board, that's got to be like the funniest.
Sometimes
like
you're
trying to
just
keep a straight face.
What?
I call it the loud 10%, right? The loud 10% of the maniacs, and they make sure they go to every single meeting.
Yeah.
They've got this fire in them to just complain and act like psychos.
And I'm down with it, right? I mean, what it is I'm down with it. If you saw a county commissioner, all the other commissioners like this during public comment, but not me. I'm down. I'm listening to you. I'm hearing you. I think you've lost your mind. But I'm going to hear you out. And if you have something that's relevant, I'll jot that down. And I will ask those questions, right? And I always was on the side of my constituents. I never was, everyone thought that I worked for Bernalillo County, and I go, yeah, you got it wrong. I don't work for Bernalillo County. I'm keeping them accountable. I don't do their job for them, but I hold them accountable.
But I'll blow the whistle.
And that's my job. And to protect you in the meetings for you. So if it's a zoning issue, right? So if it was, if somebody wanted to do a curb, people ask me, what was it like to be a county commissioner? I go, dude, I learned things I could have went my whole life not knowing, bro. Like, I don't care where a curb goes or a fire, but I needed to know that because I needed to be able to protect people who were going to develop in the South Valley, what kind of development was going in the South Valley. Yeah. I spent 8 years keeping more polluted industries out of there because that's where it all went historically and zoned for it. But I said no more to that. And so, yeah, we want you to develop, but we want clean jobs. We want clean manufacturing jobs. We need those types of opportunities for the residents and the people who live in the South Valley. And so I stuck to those guns. I bought Anderson Farms, so I preserved the largest the last piece of agricultural land. So now that belongs to all of us now forever. No development on certain properties, because that's what makes Albuquerque unique, right? Is our rural area, right? In this urban city, you got this rural river, and that's what makes us cool. Yeah. So let's not mess that up, right? So that means we need to develop out in the desert, out in the mesa, up. We're already gone through, so we're out of room, really. Yeah, we need development, and so what you guys do, I think, is talk about our necessity for housing and homes, and we're talking about downtown. So let's talk about downtown just for a quick second. Like the art project. I was against the art project.
I think everyone was.
But this is the deal. I wasn't against art project itself. I was against the way they were doing
about it. Yes.
So I mean, because look, you guys travel as much as I did. If you're, you guys have been professional and what you did, and that means you have to travel. Same thing with me. You never see an art bus up and down a main road of a city. Where the art bus is from the airport. Yeah. So what you do is you get people from the airport and you bring them to downtown. So that means you go through university, come to university, where CNM students and UNM students
go past the stadiums, go past
where it's useful.
They will use the art bus to go to class and whatever. Then you bring them downtown, then turn around, you go back. That's what an art bus should have done.
Yes.
Why are you going all the way up to 98th Street or Central Avenue with 3 buses already on that line?
I was going to say, there was already buses.
There was Rapid Ride and the regular ride.
I'm against an executive order, which is what it was, right?
Yeah.
Just forcing it. And we've had a couple succession of mayors that just did things and without the constituents liking it and being aware of what's going to happen.
I always did everything what my constituents asked for. I went to all the neighborhood association meetings. I was very connected to my constituents in my community, and when they asked me to do something, I took it serious and I went and did that.
I think that's what makes you impressive, is what you did is you didn't want to be a politician, I'm guessing, at the beginning, and then you said, here's how I make a difference. So your heart's in it, and you're not there for the position, more so for the change you can make. And I think that's cool. It kind of inspires me to go, hey, that's how you make move, right? The way you can change locally, that's how you make change in the world is local. And I think Robert Kennedy said that. It's
like if we were all standing in line, and if it was a line for people to complain, that would be the longest line. And then the next line would be people who are actually paying attention, and that would be a shorter line. And then people who actually want to get involved and make a change, well, that's a very short line.
Yeah.
And because that's ugly. To do that is ugly. Politics is ugly. It's very divisive. They attack you. They attack your family. They attack your kids. So good people don't want to do that, right? They're like, that's just bad for your soul and for your vibe, man. And so
but you got some fight in you.
I gave that up.
Yeah,
I gave that up.
You come from your neighborhood probably gave you that fight. Right?
I grew up in the hood, man. So I fought my whole life.
Yeah. You can be comfortable with it. I'm comfortable with it.
I am too, man. I am too.
Confrontation, let's come on.
And I don't know if that's a smart thing or a good thing.
No, it's dumb.
But it is who we are. It is dumb. But the thing is, I had to get involved because I needed to make change, and I lived in an area that was 50 years to 75 years behind
grossly underserved
development and jobs and amenities and these things. So Route 66 Visitor Center, I was attacked for that, right? But that was a 30-year plan. It took us 30 years from the community to saying, hey, this is what we're advocating for. We have events on the west side called Think Big, and what it is, it's like an event, but really what it is, it's a neighborhood meeting with balloons and bands and everything else. And so we'd give away stuff, and we'd have you fill out a questionnaire, and through that questionnaire, me and Councilor Pena would get the information we needed in order to do what we wanted to do. And some of the amenities they asked for, it was something where we could have functions, because right now we're just doing it at a park.
Sure.
And and everybody else has actually facilities. We don't have we have a facility now. We're trying to still get it open. And I'll take the blame that it's not open, because we put an event center and a tap room, and that means there's alcohol involved, because we wanted to have a public-private partnership so that it was self-sustaining. So it wasn't a burden on the taxpayers for this thing to function and run, right? So that was the idea of it. The problem is that the county built it, I built it, but it was advocated for by the community. And when I said alcohol, county went, hey, we don't mess with alcohol.
Yeah.
We don't do that. And so since the city was a partner with us, me and Councilor Penny says, well, let's turn it over to the city, because they already do alcohol. They do the convention center. You can get a beer at the zoo or whatever, right? So they're dealing with either
licensing and
third party
liability, whatever.
Whatever. And so we decided that would be a better move for the visitor center to do that. And because that, they're trying to navigate that now. And then people also have to understand, we built it during COVID, so of course it's not going to be open. I mean, they're like, hey, it's not open. Well, yeah, there's been issues. So we have to take responsibility. But it's not a bad idea. And the reason why we came up with it is we thought it would not only foster new development on the Southwest Mesa and 9 Mile Hill, which it has already. Right. It's not even open, and it has. Go up there and you'll freak out on all the new restaurants and buildings.
What's the cross street? Because that is a...
It's up on 9 Mile Hill.
That's the first thing you see coming over there.
98th and Central, you keep going up to 9 Mile Hill. That's that look when you look. We have the best views.
Oh, when you come in Route 66, and you're coming, the casino, when you come over, you see the city. It is cool. My brother and I.
So you'll be able to have a wedding there, or a quinceañera, or whatever you want to do. It has an amphitheater, so we could do, festivals during,
That's cool.
We put it into where it was a community-based facility that the community needed.
It's probably lacking over there, right?
Well, we did a market analysis and a study before we did it. We always made sure that we crossed our T's and dotted our I's. We just didn't build it without having all of that in place. The market analysis came back saying this will be self-sufficient in 3 years once you open it. So we're still there. We're trying to. It's going to open this year. I don't know the exact date, but it's happening.
Great.
We turned it over to the city. They're figuring it out. It'll open. But what we wanted to do is get people off the freeway.
Right. Yeah,
to get onto Central,
show them the small
and then
part.
take them down Central, and we want to get everybody to downtown. Right now, you stay on the freeway, you get up at Uptown.
That's true.
So why do you think Uptown is booming? Why do you think Windrock did everything that they did?
Yeah.
Because they know where the people are going. If we want to save the zoo and our
you got to
museums
have people turn
and all
right.
this stuff,
They got to turn right.
we need to get you down
Exit
Central.
quickly. Yeah.
Right? We need to get you down Central, and I get it. People say, well, the people hanging out on Central ain't the best.
Well,
go to any city.
Now,
Go to any city, any major city, and tell me you don't see that.
I'm glad you said that, because I'm so tired of people saying, "Oh, in Albuquerque." I'm like, "Have you traveled before?" I've been to Portland, Austin, Dallas. I would go to
New Orleans.
I go to pretty much really nice towns, and I see it. I mean, there's a section for everywhere, and I think that people think that we have the monopoly on homeless people and crime. And it's like, dude, go downtown anywhere, and so there's a revitalization that can happen. I've seen that in Vancouver, where it gets nice, and so when people frequent it, good things happen.
Yeah. I was just driving through Taos with my wife, and there was a homeless lady, and my wife goes, "Oh my God, they got homeless people in Taos." And she had a sign, and she goes, "What does the sign say?" It says, "We have homeless people in Taos." That's what her sign said. And she goes, "No." And I was kidding with her. But yeah, man, that's a drug and a behavioral health issue that every major city is trying to deal with.
Yes.
And it's not unique to us.
When people have this quote, they go, "Only in Albuquerque." I attack it. I go, "Yeah, only in Albuquerque a guy's missing his tire. Only in Albuquerque a guy hit a curb."
Those are for people who've never been anywhere else.
They maybe just got out. They barely got out of a 17-year coma.
Their neighborhood because they got a job somewhere. Because if they didn't have a job somewhere, then they would never leave that neighborhood. But we've seen and that's why when we come and we talk about development and how we see the good cities that are growing and are functioning and that are booming, and we come here and we say, boy, we're not doing that, but we're not dying either. So this is a great opportunity. We're not going the wrong way yet, right? We still have. We're right
just
here.
Floating.
We're floating, but we can do that. We could bring in these industries. We did the solar manufacturing while I was at the county. We approved those up in Mesa del Sol. Mesa del Sol is another area for great development.
I agree.
I'm sure you guys all know Steve Chavez, and he's doing really good work up there. The soccer fields up there, sports.
I know. We had them on the show.
Yeah, we know that soccer facility up there that we built.
Well, let's chat a little bit more about you, because West Mesa, Albuquerque kid, and then you had a chance. I'm sure you got a little taste of Hollywood. You had a chance to go out and see bigger cities. Why Albuquerque? Why would you end up back here in
I
New
never
Mexico?
left.
Yeah, but
so
I'm
I
saying,
never left. Yeah, I just, I'm 40% Native American, so I'm one of those Chicanos that are Spanish, and then whatever indigenous native that was in New Mexico, that's my bloodline. That's my personal bloodline. But I just think everybody who's in New Mexico is a New Mexican. That's just how I feel. I don't hold anybody accountable for the past. Just like the other day, this guy goes, "We conquered you," and I go, "Really? Do I look conquered to you, bro?" I'm like, "Cause I think you're renting, and I own a house, so I think you got conquered."
Yeah,
bro.
this guy didn't conquer anything. He didn't even conquer English, I think.
Yeah. And so, but for me, I think we're all New Mexican, right? And that we all are just. I think that's what's cool about us here. When you go to even the communities like Santa Fe and Taos, man, it's very diverse. It's not just one thing or the other. And I think we represent what America looks like and how it functions.
Melting pot, for
Because
sure.
I'll tell you, I have some friends who are Republicans, and they're very good people, man. Very good people, right? On the federal level, I have another opinion on that. But locally, I'm just going to tell you, that's why I don't get on social media and talk smack. Because my connection to the people here locally, I find that would be disrespectful to them, and I would never want to disrespect them.
I think the discourse between the two parties, right? Having Republican friends is good for you. I think it's good for me. When I hear the ideas, I get to gain their perspective. I get to see why they think the way they do, instead of saying, "Oh, those guys over there." Right? And the more you can trade ideas, then you can understand where they're coming from, and maybe not change their mind completely, but then they understand where you're coming from.
Or throw in some reality. And sometimes, because, I was having a conversation, the guy goes, "Oh, these, I'm glad they're going to cut, Medicaid and all these social programs. These people are taking advantage of them." And I said, "You know what? I'm going to agree, man. There's probably 10% of those people who are taking advantage of it. And we know that, right?" I go, "But let's look at the whole picture. Because, if you take that away from people,
then what do we got?"
No, let me tell you. You think you see crime now?
I know.
I mean, bro, you have not seen crime.
Armageddon.
Yeah, because what do you think? You're going to take that away and they're going to go get a job? Or are you going to take that away and they're going to crawl in a corner and die? Because they're not. They're going to feed.
They're going to survive.
They're going to
somehow.
survive, and they're going to feed on our elderly, and they're going to feed on our children, and they're going to feed on us, man. I would rather keep them in an apartment than them feeding on people as we navigate that, right? And look for the people who are taking advantage of it and figure out how to get them on track. Not everything needs to be punitive. But it does need to be audited and looked at, and that's what I've learned.
And what the cuts we're doing so far have not amounted to what they declared it was going to be. So it's been rather unimpressive about these cuts that are happening, and they make a major impact.
They haven't passed a bill yet, but we'll see after if they pass.
Yeah, it'll be a major impact, because I think there's a lot of people that don't realize what that means. Right? You get the hurricanes, and then you take away FEMA. Like, you needed that, and then wait till you get hit by a hurricane, there's no FEMA.
I know.
Yeah.
Let's sorry.
So let's stick with that, but I agree with you. So I know we're talking about us and how we grow, right? We need housing. And so for me, one of my plans was, put in something forward where you could build a casita on your house for like your parents or or a family member, and not have your property taxes raised, right? And that you could build that, right, and keep paying what you're paying, as long as you're not making it an Airbnb or whatever.
I like that.
Right? That you could do that. That way we can open up more housing for families. I did that with my mom, because I came to my mom. I go, "Mom, what a beautiful house up here, overlooking the whole city up on Yucca, on Pat Hurley on the west side, and it's beautiful." And I go, "And you're living here? You're 88. I mean, really? I mean,
let's sell it.
Yeah,
right?
let's sell it, man. That way a family can move in here." I go, because as a commissioner, that was one of the big things, man. We don't have a really good
Nobody's
plan.
selling, right?
And right now on the west side, all they're building is apartments, and that gives someone a temporary place to live, but that's not creating family wealth. And I'm not, we talked about it early, not big wealth. We're not talking you're going to own a yacht and an RV and and a third home or whatever, but you'll be able to buy a house, something you can leave to your next generation that you own and you pay for, and that is how you build a family and give opportunities to family and create family.
I agree. So as a mortgage broker, there's a fine line about what someone can afford, and so you asked my first question: how much do you want to pay a month? I have a hard time piecing the housing for that. You can get a $265,000 house.
But it ain't going to be in
Great.
Albuquerque.
Yeah, I mean, so then what? I mean, they qualify, but they don't. I mean, so it's a hard truth when I qualify. I mean, it's like, well, what do we buy for that? And I go, that's not where I come in, but I tell you, nothing. I mean, you're not going to get anything. And it's a sad truth. So I do think there needs to be.
So that's why when you come in from California and Arizona and Colorado and they go 265, you're like, oh, well, I got that.
Yeah,
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Put it on the black card.
Yeah, here you go.
Who do I write a check to?
Yeah. So that's the difference.
It is.
Because they've been paying. Outrageous. So when they sell their house up there,
they get to retire.
They got the money.
Yeah.
No one had a problem with house prices when the rates were low. When the rates got higher, you started to realize what that cost you, right? So someone didn't care if it was $990,000 in long, it was $2,000 mortgage. I'm in. But now that rates are back to the average, it's like this is a kind of an eyesore, a dose of reality.
Yeah, we're in a hard place, man. But I think that we got to keep pushing and trying to figure it out, man. We can't quit. We can't give up. We've really got to be creative in how we think here in New Mexico to be able to get people into housing.
How do you do a builder? Is there builder incentives you guys
There
can
is
offer?
on sometimes, right? So it depends on the developer. So, but I have to really, so I Santa Lina, which was another big thing around here. And I don't know if you guys ever heard about Santa Lina, but it was very controversial. It's a development way up in the Southwest Mesa. It'll be 100 years before they develop it. But what I did, though, is I stuck to a master plan.
You got to.
You have to. You can't. So the infrastructure and all that has to be done right. And what happened historically on the Southwest Mesa is we allowed developers to just put in a road, which is pavement with a stripe on it.
Yeah.
And then once they sell all the houses, well, that road becomes my road.
You fix it.
And and it doesn't have any sidewalks or any drainage.
Lights.
It doesn't have no lighting. It doesn't have nothing. So me and Councilor Pena have been spending, the last 8 years putting in lighting, putting in sidewalks, putting in infrastructure. But from now on, when you develop, I want that in.
Okay, that's
because
what I was gonna
we
say.
have to take it over.
Exactly.
We have to do it anyway. And
They're
you're going to make money.
Their endeavor is costing.
They're making money.
Yeah.
They wouldn't do it if they weren't
need to
going to make money.
have some skin in the game.
So, but
for
that's way in the future. But we want that happening with whatever development comes forward. If there's a master plan, there's a master plan in Mesa del Sol. And Steve Chavez knows that master plan, and he's aware of it, and he agrees with it. So you have developers who agree with the master plan and that you do it right in the first place.
Culture, ethics. Yeah,
that's how we grow.
Yeah.
Let's shift some gears now. Talk about something more lighthearted and fun. Let's get into the sticks and stones of comedy. You've been in the comedy game for 40 years.
I have, man. So I was 17 years old. I would do comedy at high school, and so I'm going to let the cat out of the bag.
Here we go. Breaking news.
So breaking news, man. My new comedy special is going to be called Chicano Named Bozo.
Love this.
So from the time I was 2 years old till I was 18 years old, my name was Bozo. So they called me Bozo. All my friends called me Bozo. Everybody I went to school called me Bozo.
Are you cool with it?
I got rid of Bozo. I killed Bozo. And if you go see my comedy routine, if you go see me film my special, I'll explain to you why I killed Bozo. And so when I turned 18 and went to Eastern New Mexico University, I got to become Steven Michael Quezada.
Okay.
And so my comedy special is going to be about that guy's journey. It's going to start off with Bozo's journey and then end with probably Gomi, because that's what people call me now.
Oh, look, of course.
Right? So I could never really keep my own name. I worked so hard to be Steven Michael Quezada, and now I'm Gomi, man.
That's what happens when you play sports. It's not up to you what they call you.
Yeah, you know. And it's okay. And what was cool is how I came to terms with it is my wife goes, when I told her, she goes, I think that's cute. And so at that moment I went, why am I so mad at Bozo? Mm-hmm. Right? Why did I spend all these years? I'm 62.
Yeah.
And even like all my friends from high school and everything, they don't say that. They wouldn't never use it. If somebody else uses that name, they would get pissed off for me. Mm-hmm. And I'm like,
that's who you are now.
Bozo was a cool dude, man. Yeah, he was actually a pretty cool dude.
This is still Bozo.
He is there. Yeah, he's still a part of who I am.
It'd be good if you got your government name changed to that.
Well, see, that's some of that's in the routine, man. Right?
Did I ruin it?
No.
Here's my driver's license.
No, you got to wait till I say it. You didn't ruin nothing. But see, now you get it, right? You get why you have to kill him, right? Why he has to die. But yeah, the comedy club scene is popping.
Let me ask you this. How have you seen comedy evolve in Albuquerque? Because, I mean, I remember Laughs Cafe was like the only spot, and then it went dark. And then there was nothing.
I thought you had the wrong owner there. I just said that. I always thought he was an anti-comic.
Bill Cosby.
He didn't really treat the local comics well, and he would never hire me, and that's okay. I didn't need him. I was always on the road. I developed a career outside of Albuquerque.
You would almost have to.
But within Albuquerque, I played bars. I even tried to have a comedy room on the west side, Our Place 2, up there, and Our Place 1. That's where I started really doing comedy, at Our Place 1, in the corner with Freddie Chavez. He would play, and then I'd go after him and tell jokes, and always trying to figure out a way to, figure out a comedy career. So I was always working on that, mostly on the road. I started a comedy club in Santa Fe for a bit. Then the hotel went under. Mm-hmm. The club was rising, but the hotel,
the lights went out.
But the hotel went down.
I can't put so much on my back.
The new owner's going, we aren't interested in comedy, and so I was out of that. So I kind of gave up on trying to be a comedy club guy, and just stuck with my comedy. And then in 2007, I kind of went back. Well, 2005, I went back into acting because I felt that TV and film was more reflective of what the United States. So in other words, there was more Latino roles, and not just gangbangers and not just bad guys, but they were lawyers and police officers. And my wife goes, "I don't think you're watching TV, man. I think you need to go back and try some acting."
It's interesting that you had that role, right, in Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
I mean, it was completely. I don't know. I'm sure you can be a serious guy, but you've been a comic the whole time, and then
I had to play
then you're
serious
totally
dude.
The antithesis of that, right?
Yeah, he was the straight guy, the guy by the rules. He was the only good guy in Breaking Bad that didn't break bad. Mm-hmm. Right, even Hank broke bad a couple of times.
That's true.
He got in a fight, in the bar, and things that he was doing, right, because he's had PTSD and he wasn't playing by the rules in the book, and that's why him and Gomez were clashing there for a while.
Do you think it's important that was your role, and you were steadfast?
The greatest thing ever. George Lopez called me in season 4, and he goes, "I'm so damn proud of you because you have made television history, because you play the only good guy in a series where all the Latinos are bad people, but not you, bro."
Yeah.
And he goes, "And I'm so proud to watch that and see that." And I said, "No, Vince Gilligan created that for me, and even all the way to the end, man, let me go down like a man, a Wild West shootout, he didn't do anything weird to Gomez. You didn't see Gomez die or gasp for air or any of that. We didn't put our audience through that. He was just gone. So when you saw him, he was gone. You're like, oh, man,
there's so much
They got rid of
subtleties.
Gomez, man?
The subtleties in there is like you kind of pull away thinking, inadvertently, your subconscious receives it. And maybe you may not have seen that as a tangible action.
But you think you saw it. Yeah. And so, man, the comedy scene is popping now.
Let's talk about...
So it's changed.
Let's talk about... your comedy room, Quezada's, because you've got to do shows all over the country. You've been in small rooms, big rooms, and then you had a chance to pick and choose what you like about each room. And tell us about Quezada's and how it's laid out for comics.
So for sure, the stage is really based on the level that you want a comic to be standing. It's not too low. It's not high where you're looking down at people. Comedy is more of an intimate, live performing art. I didn't shoot a comedy special all my life because I just felt that why you're supposed to come see me, right? It's like why would you, it's like filming a play. Or you enjoyed the flamenco, right? Yeah. If you would have saw a tape of it, you would have probably watched it for a little while, and that's it. But when you were in the room, you're like, woo! And your feet start hurting when you watch it, don't you? You like start rubbing your own feet.
Because I started getting in trouble because I was part of that. They said, "No, let them perform."
But it draws you in, and you feel and so that's what comedy is for me. And so, the levels needed to be right. There was a couple of pillars I had to deal with when I designed it. They built this comedy club for me. I said, I have to design it, or I don't want to do it. And so they had space, and John Cirincione, the CEO, goes, "I'll build you whatever you want. Let's do this." He was all in. He goes, "I think you're a good human being." He goes, I'm supporting you. I'm not supporting anything else but what you've done for this community, and we're the local casino. We want to be for the local people,
Right.
and then we want to have a relationship with you, and we want to do this. So we have the cantina out front, so that's a place where everybody can go and have drinks and some food. They go early, and then you go in through a hallway, and then you go and they built me this comedy room with cameras, so people can have
cool.
tapes of their shows. I have everything's done with a QR code, so I really don't have waiters. I'm the only comedy club in the country with the Chicano's name on it.
All right, yeah.
I'm 62 years old.
Pioneer.
And I failed many times, but yet now I get to stand there and see Quezada, which is not even a regular name, right? I've never had a regular name, as you know.
Bozo.
Right?
Yeah, Bozo's was not.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so I've never had a regular name.
Bozo.
I'm half Martinez, so it's like my family's from Martinez town and then back from there. So my mom's a Martinez, right? So it would have probably been better if I was a Martinez. But people now, like, we like Quezada. I'm glad you have Quezada.
It's
because it's different.
Yeah. You know what you speak to about, you say you failed many times. That's comedy, right? I mean, your average comic, I mean, I always thought about dabbling in it, and I can't handle rejection, so I just go back to lay in my pantry and cry. But I think that the rejection is how has you got here. I mean, that's if you win all the time, you don't really get to the upper epsilon.
No.
But you failed, and that's why you went, okay, I'm going to take on this because I'm ready for this challenge. So that's great.
Yeah, and my acting career, I went back to my acting career, and that kind of hit, and and then Breaking Bad hit, and then it hit for sure. I'm preparing to do a movie right now, and we're shooting it in New Mexico. Eric Roberts, Sean Patrick Flannery, we're shooting in Socorro, so it's not in New Mexico. So we're spreading the love around.
Yeah.
I'm going to be working with some local guys, the guys who want to build that studio up at Double Eagle Airport, right, in that area. You have the neighbors are all against it. It's out in the middle of nowhere.
Not in my backyard.
Yeah, and
What's going to happen? I don't care. No.
Yeah, and they don't care. But this is the film industry is our opportunity here in New Mexico to grow.
Yeah, don't drop the ball.
Yeah, we've dropped the ball on tech and all that. We don't have to rehash those stories. We know where that happened, right? Microsoft and all of that. We know that. But we have an opportunity to actually grow an industry, not just be a doc where you come and make a movie, but where we're pre-production, production, post-production.
Keep it in-house.
We should be the mecca of where Latino and Native American content comes out of, right? We have that opportunity. These guys want to build a studio and be that, right? And so, I know a lot of really good writers. I have a bunch of scripts that I've written and a lot of different ideas. I think we should look at some of Riodolfo Anaya's writings and make those into movies. I mean, we have opportunities to tell our story here, but if we don't embrace it, if we don't fund it, if we don't grow it like we do everybody else, it's got to be bigger than just the 25-30% tax rebate. We've got to invest in it, the infrastructure and all that. The studios we had, Netflix own them. Not that it's a bad thing, because they are filming series here, and they're hiring our crews, and they're hiring our actors, to do that. That's how we grow an industry. That's what's important. So we have Hyenas here as comedy. You have Quezada's Comedy Club. Comedy's growing here in New Mexico. I used to perform at Hyenas all the time in Texas. Another Texas came here.
There you go.
But he's originally from here. He came back.
Okay.
Right? So he's back.
Forgiven. Okay.
Right? So he's back and opened the business
Yeah.
here. So that film industry, there's opportunities that we need to do. I'm not running for office anymore. People came to me, why aren't you running for mayor? Why aren't you running for that? I go, because I could do more for this community as me.
Using this face.
As me, right? So I really want to, create jobs, opportunities for our children, and I know that I could do it at some level there. But here, I don't have to listen to you.
There's no target on your back.
Yeah, there's no target.
Do you feel like there's space for an indie studio?
Oh, for sure, man. A lot of those. This is an indie film that I'm doing. You know what I mean? It's got some names in it, but it's still an independent film.
Some of the best films out now don't go to this formula. I think we're so tired of the formula. I think it's good that you inject some people that have never been in the industry, and you go, thank you, that's refreshing.
Now, don't get me wrong. I would take a role on a damn superhero movie in a heartbeat, right? I would, just because, the money. But really, that's what you're going to just keep giving us?
Churn
right?
it out.
Yeah.
Where's the stories, right?
Make us fall in love with Breaking Bad again,
Or anything.
They're treating the public like lemmings, right? And so here you just do this, and then they like that. But we're all tired of it.
I think eventually they're going to run out, so they're going to milk it for what it is. But you still have independent. Have you guys seen Strange Darling?
No.
No.
Oh my God, I'm in Strange Darling.
Okay.
But
then
you
yes.
got to see Strange Darling.
Okay.
It's an independent film, shot it out in Portland. J.T. Molnyer, it stars Willa Fitzgerald and Kyle Gellner. It's a thriller.
Okay.
And I can't tell you anything about it. All I can tell you is you got to see
Darling.
it. Strange Darling. What a great, crazy thriller film.
Please tell me
man.
you don't die at the end.
This Gomi list.
Please.
I wish I could tell you that.
Well, let's
Please
go
survive
as
it.
we wrap this up. I know you've got July 11th and 12th. You're doing your new comedy special. You're
Yeah.
filming it at your own room.
How crazy is that?
So still opportunity for tickets available on Friday and Saturday
Yeah.
for the late shows.
Yeah, the
Get a
9:30
babysitter.
shows. There's
That'd be
still
cool.
some tickets available there. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Quesadas.com.
quesadas.com for tickets. And then
It doesn't start with the K.
Yeah.
Skips it.
I'm,
He
yeah,
says stuff bad.
it's a running joke that I can't roll my R's basically.
Okay.
But real quick, just a couple of viewer questions before we get out of here, and then we'll wrap this up and send you home. Viewer questions, Mark. Do you want to cue that? You don't have to.
Mark, if you don't, okay.
Viewer questions.
Viewer question.
We lost our sound effect, but it's okay. Viewer questions. Was there a moment on Breaking Bad when you knew the show was going to be huge? A specific moment?
I think when it hit Netflix, it blew up, man, like a bomb, right? Because every season it would air, and then we'd wait a few months, and then they say, okay, they picked us up for season 2, right? And it's like, season 3, when it hit Netflix, it blew up. That's when I was no longer invited to go to Walmart with the family. You know,
Yeah, right.
my wife saw, we want to just go buy groceries, not take pictures with people, right? And so that's when I knew it had blown up, but we didn't know it was going to be that big of an explosion.
Yeah.
Worldwide. It was
yeah.
a worldwide
Right.
explosion. Yeah.
And then the last one is, when it comes to acting, is there a big day-to-day difference between filming on a movie set versus a TV set?
Yeah, I think the pressure's the same. I think the pace on television is a little quicker. But when you work with like Dean Norris, like I did, you only got 3 takes because he actually nailed it on the first one. So you needed to come in prepared. Film sometimes it's sort of like when I did Documentary Now, they shot that more film style than television. That was Fred Armisen and Bill Hader. I don't know if you remember Documentary Now, and I played El Chingon in the hunt for El Chingon.
You like that nickname?
Yeah, El Chingon was okay. It was pretty chingon.
It's
and and so and they were just like no script, And I was like, I came in and they're like, oh, how nice, you memorized the lines. And I'm like, yeah.
You showered today.
Yeah,
Great.
dude.
Okay.
And they're like, well, we're just gonna kind of go with it. And I'm like, and then they go, can you go with it in Spanish? And I go, I'm not bilingual. And they go, oh, okay, well then just go with it. And so it's still a great episode. But so there's different ways of working. Directors work differently. On the 28th on YouTube, I'm on this new series on YouTube called Golden Guy. And it's a new way that they're doing marketing, and they're tying it into like mini-series, and so I'm a part of that mini-series.
Great.
I shot in LA, and again, that was a whole different other style. It is weird. So it just depends on who's directing and who you're working with.
Yeah. Well, you're a true professional. Thank you for always being on time and